Hi guys, I'm here to share the top 10 most interesting musical genres from the music of the 20th century. Here's the top 10 most interesting musical genres from the music of the 20th century. The first one is pop music. Pop music, in a nutshell, is any music that is popular at a certain point in time. Isn't it a little vague? That is what we believe. A deeper look into the subject reveals that pop music was formerly judged against classical music even many decades ago. Next is hip hop. It is a prominent musical genre. During the 1970s, this art style began as a Bronx-based urban underground movement. African American, Latino, and Caribbean artists used music to convey their dissatisfaction with current economic and political conditions. The creative force behind hip hop wasn't a band or a singer, but rather an MC who performed at house parties or neighborhood block parties. Electronic dance music. Although EDM is a relatively young music genre, it has roots in the 1970s disco era. Pop success like Donna Summer I Feel Love lured throngs to the discos. Clubs may mix disco tunes with this beat machine after the development of the drum machine. Rock. As previously said, Bill Haley started rock and roll nearly 70 years ago, when bands like the Beatles, Herman Hermits, and the Rolling Stones topped the US chart in the 1960s. It was known as the British Invasion. Subgroups of genre arose as the decades passed. America and the Eagles were examples of soft rock bands. The Haight-Ashbury section of San Francisco influenced acid or psychedelic rock. The next one is R&B. It was born in the late 1940s when African American mixed blues and jazz music. To better sell the song, Billboard reporter Jerry Wexler renamed it Rhythm and Blues. During the 1950s and 1960s, critics regard R&B as a lowbrow art genre in comparison to jazz refined aesthetic R&B, unlike jazz relies heavily on forceful downbeats. Then here's Latin music. Will concentrate on the impact of Latin music on the pop industry because it has affected numerous genres such as classical and jazz. Latin pop mixed dancing rhythms such as the samba into popular song. Sergio Mendes, a forerunner, helped Latin pop acquire international acclaim in the 1960s. Ricky Ricardo of the television sitcom I Love Lucy was instrumental in popularizing the art form. His character was in charge of a Latin pop band. K-pop. South Korea is home to one of the most unusual and well-entertaining genres. The K refers to Korea, and this musical art form as well as K-dramas is gaining international recognition. So how did K-pop get so big? Some critics believe the present trend in Western pop music is to blame. Many of today's entertainers are low-energy singers who sing gently on introspective subjects. K-pop, on the other hand, is lively, fun, vibrant, and exciting. Then country music. It has origins in bluegrass, Texas swing, folk, and gospel, and it was born in the southern state in Texas. Most people connect country music with historic musicians like Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton. Nowadays, although the categories listed above are still relevant, legendary bluegrass pioneers include Bill Monroe, Earl Scruggs, and Doc Watson. Despite the fact that bluegrass singers continue to perform on the Grand Ole Opry. Current bluegrass has a cult audience. This is due to lack of radio exposure. Classical music. While Simplify covered the popular categories because classical is such a large category with so many subgenres. In the Middle Age, Western Europe gave birth to classical music. Sacred works were frequently commissioned by the church in the early period of composition. The last one, of course, is metal. It was born in 1960 with pioneering bands like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. These bands paved the path for today's metal artists with their powerful sound. Metal has subgroups much like every other musical genre. Artists like Kiss and Alice Cooper are examples of shock rock. True metalheads would argue that they are not metal, Bon Jovi and Motley Crue helped popularize glam metal in the 1980s. There's also underground thrash, death and black metal. The guitars and basses downtuned in metal. Metal's deep and heavy tones are achieved through a modest lowering of pitch in the string. Metallica, Iron Maiden, and Avenged Sevenfold are among the most successful metal bands in the world today. Metal has a loyal following despite not being as popular as it was a few decades ago.